Have you ever applied for something you desperately needed and watched the person across the desk slowly shake their head at you? Not because of who you are, not because of what you have done, but because of a number you didn't choose and didn't fully understand. Maybe you have tried to ignore it. Maybe you told yourself it doesn't matter, that you will deal with it later. Maybe you've opened an app at midnight and felt your chest tighten. Maybe you've watched other people move through life without these walls. They get approved. They get the apartment. And you've wondered quietly, what do they know that I don't? This is the story of Marcus Webb, 31 years old, warehouse worker. A credit score of 524 that had just cost him the one thing he needed most. What Marcus discovered wasn't a trick or a loophole. It was a truth about the system that nobody teaches you. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Marcus woke every morning at 5:47 not because he chose to, but because the radiator made a deep metallic groan, like the building itself was reluctant to start another day. The apartment was on the third floor of a building that smelled of old carpet and someone else's cooking. His window faced a brick wall 6 feet away. He worked at a regional distribution warehouse on the east side. 6 to 2 shift. Sorting and loading freight. He had worked there 4 years and was never once late. His take-home was $1,580 a month. Rent, $740. After everything, he had $40 to $80 left every month. For years, the theory never matched the reality. He had 2 credit cards, one secured card at 95% utilization, one store card at 24% interest. He paid the minimum every month and was proud of it. He didn't drink. He didn't spend recklessly. He showed up. He worked hard. But hard work alone wasn't moving him anywhere. He was working in a life that was going nowhere. The thought that haunted him was not about money exactly. It was about walls. Invisible walls only he could see. Every time he tried to move forward, the wall appeared. He applied for a used car loan across town. A job that paid more, required a car. The application came back denied. The wall had a number, and that number was 524. His mother called every Sunday. Marcus, when are you going to get yourself settled? He would tell her he was working on it, and he was. He just didn't know how. He saved $1,200 for a deposit. He found a 1-bedroom apartment with a real kitchen and a window that faced the street. He pressed his shirt the night before the visit. He took the bus 40 minutes across town that day. He wore the pressed shirt. He arrived early. He stood in that kitchen and looked at the window. Real light, warm, and ordinary, and beautiful. The landlord looked at the screen and said without looking up, "Your score came back at 524. Our minimum is 620. I can't move forward." He said it the way someone reads a weather report. He thanked the landlord. He walked down the stairs. He stood on the sidewalk in his pressed shirt in the cold March air and felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Rage. He sat at the bus stop for 20 minutes before the bus came. And his hands were cold. He did not put them in his pockets. He just sat there and let the cold be real. The next morning, Marcus was back on the floor early. He was quiet. The way people get quiet when they've accepted something they haven't actually accepted. Raymond Okafor had worked at the warehouse 19 years. He was 54. Calm in a way that doesn't feel forced. The kind of calm that comes from having already fought a war and surviving. At lunch, Raymond set his tray across from Marcus without ceremony and said, without preamble, "You look like a man who got told no." Marcus looked up. Apartment. Credit score. Raymond said, "Do you know why your score is stuck?" "I pay my minimums. Never miss a payment." Raymond nodded. "That's only 35% of your score. You're fighting yourself." Raymond leaned forward. "The second biggest factor, 30% of your score, is utilization. Your cards are nearly full. That single fact is dragging you down more than anything else." Marcus felt something shift in his chest. Not hope exactly. Attention. The kind you give something when you realize it is real and it is within reach. Will you show me? He asked. Raymond said, I paid off $74,000 in 11 years on a warehouse salary. I own my house. I have no debt. I am not special. I just understood the system before it finished understanding me. Credit scoring has 5 components, Raymond said. Payment history, 35%. Utilization, 30%. Length of history, 15. Credit mix, 10 to I. New inquiries, 10 highs. Most people only know about payment history, Raymond said. The credit industry doesn't advertise utilization because high utilization makes them money. You've been paying and losing at the same time. Attack the utilization first. Get both cards below 30%. Don't close them. That hurts your length of history. Don't apply for new ones. Just pay down the balances. Most people on your income are leaking $40 to $60 a month. Subscriptions forgotten, bank fees accepted, grocery habits unchecked. That's your starting capital. Find the leaks. 1 month, Raymond said. Track every dollar. Find your leaks. Redirect them to your highest utilization card. After 30 days, come back and show me your numbers. If you've done the work, I'll show you step 2. If you quit, don't bother calling. Success goes to people who show up when it's hard. Marcus felt the weight of the challenge, but also, for the first time in years, purpose. The system isn't fair, but it is learnable. Those are 2 different problems. Marcus held the folded paper on the bus ride home and read it 3 times before his stop. That evening, Marcus downloaded a free budgeting application and logged his first transaction. Not an estimate, an actual transaction. Every cent. He had never done this before in his life. I'll do it, he said to no one. He said it quietly in the small kitchen, to the bare walls, to the cracked plaster, to himself. The most important audience he had never thought to address. The first week was humbling in ways Marcus hadn't anticipated. He logged every transaction, not estimates. Every actual purchase, every fee, every charge, examined and recorded. On day 3, he discovered $77.99 a month in invisible charges, a streaming service he hadn't opened in 4 months, a subscription box, a bank protection service that had never protected him from anything. He canceled all 3 on his lunch break, the phone warm against his ear, each cancellation menu designed to make leaving feel like a defeat. He left anyway, every single one. By the end of the first week, he had found $112 in monthly leakage. He redirected every dollar toward the secured card, not split evenly, one card, concentrated, like Raymond had said. The second week was harder, not financially, but mentally. The tracking felt oppressive. Every transaction felt like a small judgment. He came close to closing the app and going back to not knowing. He whispered to himself the thing he'd been telling himself for years. This is too slow. It won't matter. Nothing changes. He sat with that thought for a long time. Then he opened the app again. He opened the app again, logged his dinner, went to sleep. That was all. It was enough. Showing up when everything in you says not to. That is the whole practice. By the end of week 3, the secured card balance had dropped from $287 to $198. Utilization from 95% to 66%. Still too high, but moving. For the first time in 4 years. Moving. He went back to Raymond exactly 30 days later. He slid the phone across the table with the budget tracker open. Raymond reviewed it without speaking for almost 2 full minutes. Raymond slid the phone back and said, You found the leaks. Not a question. You found them, and you plugged them. Good. He paused. Now I'll show you step 2. Month 2. Month 3. Card by card. Dollar by dollar, dollar. The work continued in the kitchen at night, in the break room at lunch, on the bus in the morning. Always quiet, always forward. 90 days after their first lunch conversation, Marcus's credit score had moved from 524 to 581. It was not a dramatic number, but it crossed a threshold. And he knew exactly why. At the 4-month mark, his secured card was at 22% utilization, his store card at 41%. Overall utilization down from 91% to 34%. His score reached 611. 6 months after Raymond slid that paper across the table, Marcus applied for the 1-bedroom apartment. He sat in the leasing office with his hands steady on the armrests. The property manager looked up and said, "You're approved." 3 words. Marcus nodded and said, "Thank you," in a voice that was composed and quiet, and gave nothing away. He walked to his car, a used sedan he had researched for 3 months, purchased with a small personal loan at a rate that would have been impossible 8 months earlier. He sat in the parking lot for a few minutes before driving home. Just sat there, not moving, letting it be real. The thing he had worked toward, quietly, alone, for 6 months. His mother called that Sunday. He told her about the apartment. She went quiet. Then she said, "Marcus, I knew you'd figure it out." He didn't tell her how close he had come to not figuring it out. At work, Raymond stopped him near the loading dock 7 months in. "What's your score now?" Marcus told him. 638. Raymond nodded. "Keep going. 700 is where the real doors open." Raymond walked away without ceremony, the way a man walks away from something that doesn't require drama because it was always going to happen. Marcus watched him go and smiled once to himself. Every morning in the new apartment, the window facing the street filled with real light, he stood at that window and thought, "This is evidence, not luck, not magic, evidence of work done in the dark. I don't let a number define what I'm allowed to want. I learned the system. I work the system. I am not my score, but I know exactly what it is, and why, and what it will be 90 days from now." That is not a financial strategy. That is who I am. A man who stopped hiding from the system and started learning it. 1 month, 1 card, $1 redirected at a time. Marcus Webb, 31 years old. Warehouse worker. Credit score 638 and climbing. He didn't change his income. He changed what he knew. That was enough to change everything. Your credit score is not a judgment of your character. It is an output, a mathematical result of specific inputs. And inputs can be changed. Marcus proved this. Now here is your system. Step 1. Pull your free credit report today. Look at your utilization number. If it is above 30% on any card, that is your first target. Not your payment history, your utilization. Step 2. Do a subscription audit this week. Open your bank statement. Go back 30 days. Mark every recurring charge. Cancel every one you do not actively use. Redirect it all to one balance. Attack one card. Step 3. Do not open new credit. Do not close old accounts. Do not apply for anything that creates a hard inquiry until your utilization is below 30%. Then drop "I know the system" in the comments right now. Marcus got out. So can you. The system isn't fair, but it is learnable, and that is the only thing that matters. Subscribe. Share this with someone stuck behind a number they don't understand.